Okay, so I'm going to cover why we don't have serialization of the standard in, standard out. Basically, the main reason is we have graphics, and when you send the graphics to the command line, it's not serialized. There's a reason for that. Okay, just for example, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Pointer to sprite number. Let's do number 1. Okay, so you might do. Okay, now when we run that, we get the graphic sent to the command line. Control T. Let me. So there's the graphic on the command line. I could have serialized it if I had. If we edit one of these, take a look. See over here, we have the vectors for the sprite. I could have converted them to text. They're actually stored in as binary raw data. When I first did my operating system, I didn't have a way to convert between text. Here's the text. So now I could serialize, but there's a couple good reasons not to. One reason is, okay, so when you go to the menu, Control M, one time I hooked up an RS-232 connection and I tried to do a terminal. And what I found myself doing was hitting Control M and going on the menu. And the menu is a local file. And so what was happening was on my remote, I was going to one menu file, and on my host, I was going to the other menu file with the macros. And as long as they were identical, it worked, and as long as you never got out of sync or anything with a character, you were in good shape. But that's kind of precarious. It's kind of, I guess you'd call it open loop instead of closed loop or something. Anyway, there is a standard in to some degree. This will. Oh, let's add them. We want auto. I'm sorry. I can tell you what we did. Okay, so I just sent it to my standard in. So you can send text to your standard in, but when you're doing pop-ups and stuff, it gets tricky. You can send text to your neighbor's standard in. If you know up here is his task ID or whatever you want to call it, say crosstalk. I don't know what we should call it, process ID. It's the address of the task record. 3FD55428. So I'm going to send text to this guy's standard in. Okay, you see how that worked? So you do have a little bit of, it's mostly serialized, but there's a lot of exceptions. For example, if we go to the DAL docs, what we're going to do here is make a the window is updated 30 times a second, and so this does a calculation on a callback. You can do a callback to give you text. That's what this is doing. So look at this. So what we have here is the command line with a callback that is supplying any kind of text. And look at that. Now this one is on the border document. The border, there are 2 or 3 documents. You know how Windows has a client and a mainframe or something? Or when this has a border document and a client document. So this is a clock that's updating, and this we go underneath. Now another thing, that I don't honestly use very often, but there's another thing called a pound define. It's very similar to, okay, we're going to do text with a define string. How about DD company? Now what we have here is a text entry with a define. Now if we come down here and we say pound define DD company, then it just popped up here. That's updated 30 times a second. This whole document is updated 30 times a second. The whole screen is updated 30 times a second. We can change that to another thing. Anyway, so it's not. This is not serial. My thinking was, you know, the serial stuff, the standard in, standard out. That's mostly for business and scientific applications. What we're mostly interested in is games, and I've tested the operating system on games, and it works great. There's nothing lacking. As a matter of fact, we can go look at that game I just showed you with the bird. There's a it's got a capability to set up an account registry, high score and stuff. It's perfect for games. So that's let me see, was there something else? Yeah, that's why I don't have, I don't call it standard in, standard out. Anyway, oh, you can double buffer the standard out, as a matter of fact. And the standard out is, actually the standard out is just as special as standard in. Anyway, so I just don't need them. I've done applications to run it through all the possible uses I want for this operating system, and it works. It's verified. It works. It does what I hoped for. I hoped for doing a role as a Commodore 64, the same. It wasn't, NASA wasn't using Commodore 64s. They were using mainframes. And we don't want to recreate Linux. We want something different and special. So, you know, down the road, maybe I'll do something to allow serialization of sprites, because I have the code now. Right now, when you send a sprite to the command line, it just passes a pointer to a raw graphic. So what I could do is I don't have a syntax right now for processing a sprite in the compiler, so the compiler would need maybe we would say pound sprite. Oops. Maybe. Oh, let's see. As if we wanted a syntax, maybe we could say pound sprite, and then end pound sprite end, something like that, or I don't know. I would need to do that. I haven't done that. I don't really care that much. If nobody really cares, because nobody does that. No, you just use it for games. So how about that?